Hey everyone, let's dive right in. Today, we're looking at an explainer of what is honestly probably the defining business story of the next decade. We're talking about the massive hidden connection between Amazon's logistics empire and Tesla's physical hardware. It's wild. The source material makes this huge claim right out of the gate, calling it the single biggest event in both companies' histories. No pressure, right? But seriously, today we're going to unpack exactly how these two tech titans are quietly on a collision course to just totally reshape global commerce from the ground up. If you fast forward 5 to 10 years, the implications are absolutely mind-blowing. So here's the roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with Amazon's big logistics move, look at the concept of the AWS of atoms, check out Tesla's hardware opportunity, dive into the economics of automation, hit on the real-world risks, and finally, wrap up with what market signals you need to be watching. All right, part one, Amazon's massive logistics move. Amazon is pulling off a seismic shift right now, moving away from relying on legacy carriers like UPS or FedEx, and instead deciding to open up their own internal network to the public. They're rolling out something called ASCS, Amazon Supply Chain Services. Think of it as a bundle of freight, distribution, parcel shipping, and AI inventory forecasting, all wrapped into one package. The kicker here? Huge launch customers like Procter & Gamble or 3M can now literally plug into the exact same logistics machine that powers Amazon.com. They are basically opening their internal playbook to everyone. And just pause for a second and look at the sheer scale of this empire. We're talking 1.56 million employees, making them the second largest employer in the US right behind Walmart. They've got 1,200 global logistics facilities, over 40,000 semi-trucks, planes, and, oh yeah, over 1 million deployed robots. It's like a small country. Amazon is taking this massive pre-built infrastructure and pointing it straight at a projected $13 trillion global logistics market. They already built the tracks, now they're just inviting everyone onto the train. Which brings us to part two, the AWS of atoms. To really grasp what Amazon is attempting to pull off here, we kind of have to look back at one of the biggest corporate wins in history. Remember when Amazon Web Services launched back in 2006? Renting computer space over the internet sounded kind of crazy to a lot of people at the time. But fast forward to 2024, and AWS is hitting $108 billion in revenue, and actually accelerating to a projected 28% growth by 2026. It generates half of Amazon's total profit. They literally created the cloud computing category out of thin air. So here's the brilliant parallel. AWS is a digital API for renting computing power. ASCS, it's effectively a physical API for moving, storing, and delivering real-world goods. They are creating the AWS of atoms. By turning physical logistics into a recurring infrastructure subscription, well, Wall Street absolutely drools over recurring revenue compared to standard one-off transactions. The market cap potential here is just staggering. All right, part three, Tesla's generational hardware opportunity. You might be wondering, where exactly does Elon Musk fit into all this? Well, for Amazon to actually pull this off globally, they need to multiply their physical capacity by like 3 to 5 times. And here is the physical pipeline they need to fill to get there. Semi-trucks for freight, autonomous vans for local parcel deliveries, humanoid labor to handle the messy reality inside warehouses, and FSD, full self-driving software to tie the whole platform together. This basically positions Tesla as the ultimate picks and shovels hardware provider for Amazon's new gold rush. Let's break that down, starting with the heavy freight layer. Tesla is really the only US manufacturer right now with a vertically integrated electric semi-factory capable of the scale Amazon demands. Their Nevada factory is targeting 50,000 trucks a year. These things get 350 to 500 miles of range. And get this, Tesla just scooped up 965 out of 1,067 clean truck vouchers in California. That is total dominance. Plus, if you collocate charging right at the warehouse, your energy and maintenance costs absolutely plummet compared to diesel. Then you move down the pipeline to local delivery. Right now, finding and paying human commercial drivers is a massive bottleneck. There just aren't enough of them. Tesla's proposed RoboVan, the self-driving 20-passenger or freight vehicle, is a direct fix for that exact problem. I mean, a platform that is literally a box on wheels that drives itself. That entirely eliminates the driver shortage. For a logistics company, that's a margin-saving no-brainer. This naturally leads us to part four, the economics of automation. Because the most mind-bending part of this crossover actually happens indoors, inside the fulfillment centers. 1 million. That's a huge number. Amazon already has over 1 million robots working in their logistics network right now. They added 250,000 of them just in the last year alone, using them for picking and moving pods. So if anyone doubts whether Amazon is ready to deploy automated hardware at massive scale, yeah, they're definitely ready. They're already doing it. And the motivation to push this even further, it's driven by totally undeniable math. Right now, a human warehouse worker costs roughly 25 to 35 bucks an hour fully loaded. But look at Tesla's Optimus robot. If Tesla actually hits their target price of 20 to 30 grand, and you factor in a 3-year lifespan plus energy and maintenance, the hourly cost drops to like $1.50 or $2. We're talking a 90% reduction in labor costs per unit at scale. Amazon could easily absorb hundreds of thousands of these robots without even straining their capital expenditures. But let's take a step back and look at part 5, risks for Amazon and Tesla. We need to be totally objective here because neither path to dominance is guaranteed and both companies are facing some pretty severe headwinds. As you can see, Amazon's attempt to eat this market is not going to be a walk in the park. FedEx and UPS aren't just going to roll over. They have decades of regulatory maneuvering under their belts. Throw in fierce opposition from the Teamsters Union and serious FTC antitrust scrutiny, especially around Amazon having access to competitors' distribution data. And for Tesla? Well, let's be honest, they have a very well-documented history of wildly optimistic missed production deadlines. Plus, they aren't even the only game in town. Heavily funded robotics competitors like Boston Dynamics and Figure AI are already out there signing real-world logistics contracts as we speak. So, moving to part 6, what to watch next. How do we know if this massive crossover is actually unfolding? Here are the 4 actual market signals you should be tracking over the next 12 to 18 months. First, keep an eye on Amazon's earnings reports. The moment they officially separate ASCS revenue into its own segment, Wall Street will reprice it exactly like they did with AWS. Second, watch like a hawk for any pilot partnership between Tesla and Amazon. Even a tiny test run of semi-trucks is a generational market signal. Third, monitor if competing robotics firms sign with Amazon instead. If so, Tesla might be losing its window. And finally, if FedEx or UPS start aggressively slashing their enterprise pricing, that is them quietly admitting that Amazon's threat is very, very real. This brings us to one final huge question. It's an unbelievable structural shift in global logistics. The economics of automation point to an inevitable transition, leaving us with this. If physical labor literally just becomes another digital API that any business can rent, what on earth does that mean for the human workforce of tomorrow? It opens up a massive Pandora's box about income and human purpose that we're all going to have to face sooner rather than later. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and definitely stay curious.